It's about as far, like, I actually did the math, like figuring out longitude and latitude, and the only way to get further away from Provo would be to either go to Madagascar or sail a boat into the Indian Ocean, which is the exact opposite from Provo. So it's definitely a world away. I remember my first memory getting off the plane in the airport was just getting hit with this wave of humid air and immediately being drenched in sweat and going, okay, this is what it's going to be like for 2 years. I can either suffer or just choose not to care. And I went, okay, I'm just not going to care. And I never really had much of an issue getting annoyed by the sweat or the humidity after that. It was great. That first day, we got a ride. The mission president was actually off on a tour with the local 70, and so the office elders came and picked us up, and they took us around town, around Jakarta, showed us a few sites, took us to go buy a proselyting bag, and I remember just being like overwhelmed with the craziness of the city. Here in the U.S., you see a motorcycle like for every 1,000 cars or so. Over there, it's like 10 to 15 motorcycles for every car you see. So motorcycles, scooters, they're everywhere. And it all just kind of like flowed, the traffic as we went. No one really followed rules. The lights, stoplights were more like guidelines, but it all still just held together in this really cool flow. One of the senior missionaries described it as like a never-ending game of chicken is how traffic works over there. But yeah, like, and we popped on one of the transport buses, which is usually like as many people crammed inside as you can get, with some guy leaning out the edge screaming, hey, get on this bus, this is where it goes, this is where it goes. I just remember like being crazy overwhelmed, like I'm supposed to be able to deal with all this, I'm supposed to be able to understand all this. And it was really cool looking back on that towards the end of my mission, because I finished my mission in the office, and my companion and I went and did the same thing for a couple of incoming elders. And it was just cool looking back on my experience arriving, being completely overwhelmed, having no idea what I'm doing, and then being the same kind of like shepherd for these incoming elders and having absolute competence and confidence in getting them around town and getting people where they needed to go. So it's a wild introduction. It's definitely a different place, but it's an adventure too.